Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, please subscribe, like and share. So today we'll be cutting and sewing this bustier without half cut, and this is what it's looking like because I made this gown with this pattern and it came out so fine. It doesn't have half cut and it still gave me that full flay that I wanted to have. So we'll start by this is my basic body eyes, though I didn't do the complete basic body eyes because we're going to be doing some alternation, or some alteration. What is it being called? I can't remember. Sorry about that. So the first line is the bust point. That is where your nipple is. That's the first line that as you can see, I'm ruling a line. That is the first line. The measurement you'll be needing for this is a shoulder, your bust, your underbust, round underbust, your round waist, your round hip. The measurement you'll be needing for this process, or for this video that we're going to, for this tutorial that we're going to be doing. So after drawing a line for my round bust line, after doing that, I'll be measuring 4 inches all the way down to my waistline, my underbust line, and I'll be dividing my shoulder by half. That is when I remove the 3 inches I removed, I will divide it into half. Then I'll connect the line from my shoulder to my waistline. As you can see, there are 3 lines there: my bust line, my underbust, and my waistline. So what I'm going to do now is to come to my underbust line, and I will take out half inch from the center pattern and take out 0.7 or 0.8. It depends. I'm not busted, so I didn't take out much. I only took out half inside and 0.7 outside, the other outside side. When you are doing this pattern, try to make sure that your pattern does like your line doesn't touch each other. That is, the center pattern line and the side pattern line doesn't touch each other, because you're going to be cutting it out. So what I'm going to do is to go up by 5 inches, and from that 5 inches dot, I'll be coming out by 2 inches. This 2 inches is like upper bust tightening for this type of pattern that I'm creating. So what you're going to do is connect from that 5 inches dot to your bust point, and from that 5 inches up, we are going to be creating new armhole line because we have taken 2 inches out already. So we're going to be creating new armhole line. As you can see, that extra 2 inches is going to go out, so we're going to create extra another new armhole line. So what I'm going to be doing is to add 2 inches all the way to where my armhole stopped. That is, that 2 inches that I took out, I'm going to add it and connect it to my armhole. As you can see, we have new armhole now, apart from the one that we created before. So what I'm going to do is to go down by 4 inches, and I'll be connecting my 4 inches line to where my underbust tightening started. So as you can see, it's just to connect it. You don't need to go to your waistline. This is if you are doing a bustier without waistline, that is without half cut. So what I'm going to be doing now is to add my measurement. Your bust divided by 4 plus the inches that you want to add. Then here, your underbust divided by 2 plus this space you are seeing now, this space in between. You calculate the one your own is showing you. If it's showing you 1.5 inches or 1 inch, you add it before you add your seam allowance. Then you do the same thing for this waistline too. You add all these excesses before you add your seam allowance. Then we will now go to my hip. If this is a straight cut, maybe you are sewing a straight gown that you don't want it to have half cut and half length, and is a straight gown, this tutorial is for you. Like, this is for you. So what I'm going to do is divide my hip by 4 and add my allowances. I didn't add pattern paper to that place because I know that place would be able to accommodate my hip. So what I'm going to do now is to connect my lines. That is, connect the dots that I've marked out from my armhole to my waistline, then from my waistline to my hip line. Yeah, this is so easy. Like, this is so easy if you are just following as I'm saying, or what I'm saying here. So you need to connect it from your waistline to your hip line, and this is set to go. You come down to your nail length, and you remove 1 inch and connect it to your hip line. And if you're doing a straight cut, this is good to go. Like, if you are doing a straight gown, this is good to go. But because I'm not doing a straight gown, what I'm doing is there's this type of gown is going to be straight, but the side is going to have something like gathers or picking or pleats or anyone that you want to do. But mine is going to have another flay by the side. So now this is the tutorial for the gown you were saying. Let us go. So you come in by 5 inches or 4.5. It depends on the one you want to do. If you are size 6, do 4.5. If you are size 8, do 5. So from your waistline, you come up by 4 inches. That is, if you come out by 5 from your center, you go up by 5. And that 5 you go up, you connect that 5 to that 4 that you came up. As you can see, I'm using my hand to show you the way it's going to be so that you won't be confused. Come out by 5 and then go up by 4.5 and connect it this way. Then what you're going to do is to go down with the same measurements, 5 all the way down, 5 all the way down, and you mark it all the way down. We're going to be cutting this part out because we're going to still use it later on in this video. We're going to use it later on in this video. So I'm going to go ahead to cut this and we'll get to work. So done cutting it out, and this is what it's looking like when we're done cutting it out. So I'll be going ahead to show you how this is my front pattern though. I have cut it out of my fabric, both the fabric and the lining folded. So this is my I only did front pattern because I manipulate the front pattern to give me the back pattern. I will show you how you can manipulate your front pattern to be your back pattern, and it will come out very, very, very nice. So what you're going to do is add your seam allowances, that's your zipper allowance, and that is at the center, towards the center of your pattern, the zipper allowance. And after doing your zipper allowance, you pin your pattern to the fabric so that you can stay in one place, and we will now do what we are going to do. So what we're going to do is that part that is will I call it the bust part, you just fold it inside. And add your seam allowances by the sides. Why we didn't add seam allowances is because we're going to add it on the fabric. So you just need to add your seam allowances round. And now, because you have folded that part, that means your bust measurement have shortened. So the only thing you're going to do is to measure your pattern and see what is remaining. If it's what is remaining, because what is remaining from mine is like 1 or 1.2 inches. So what you're going to do is to add that extra thing that is remaining to your pattern. You get. So now I'll be cutting the patterns. If look where you see how where I'm cutting, and we'll get to the next stage, which is sewing it. Oops, I can't wait. So I didn't open my front pattern when I finished cutting it. This is what your own is supposed to look like when you are done cutting it out, because I don't want to mislead anybody. So this is what your pattern, your fabric is supposed to be looking like, because when you cut your pattern on fold, when you come to your pattern on full, this is what it's supposed to look like. It's not supposed to have half cut or what is it being called. So I want to iron my interfacing on my fabric because I want it to stand, and I also want it to be firm, and because it's bustier, I also want it to carry my be firm, the bustier part to be firm on my bust when I'm wearing it. So I'll be going ahead to stay it, and I might not be doing that on camera, so I'll be doing the remaining staying off camera. You can stay with paper gum, soft gum, tissue gum, cloth gum, stay. You can stay with anything. You can stay your fabric with anything and it will come out nice. I like staying my fabric because when you stay your fabric, one is that it will not to rumple easily because there's something holding it to make it stand and stay strong. So I'll be doing the rest of camera, and here I have gone ahead to cut my neckline. As you can see, I'm trying to turn it so that you will see how the bust part is looking when you look at it from the side. I've gone ahead to do my neckline, and what I did here is 5 inches depth and 3.5 inches width. So I have gone ahead to also stitch my my lining to lining, fabric to lining, fabric to fabric. So what I'm going to do now is to sew this thing fabric to fabric and fabric to lining and lining to fabric. That is sewing it front to front and turn it over to the other side to. So I have gone ahead to do that, and here I have also shaped it because I was like, let me shape it once and for all. After turning the back to the back and front to the back, I also went ahead to shape it, and this is what it's looking like. So now we're going to add this part. So I don't know if you don't understand this part of this clothes, but first I'm going to fold my fabric into two. I'm trying to cut it into two because that two I'm cutting it into two. I will still fold it into two. I don't know how to explain this, but just to watch and see what I'm going to do. Okay, this is one that is folded into two. This is one for one side. This one now is for one side of the gown, and is folded into two. And this one is another one folded into two. That is this cloth. This is two fabric that is folded into two. That is 4. So this thing, in case if you didn't remember, this is the part that we cut out from the side of our pattern. So what I'm going to do now is to open it. I will slash open it into 3 places so that it can be easy for us to do what we're going to do. But if you're doing straight gown with this method of bustier without half cut, you don't need to cut this thing. You don't need to cut it. But me, I wanted to have a flay that's still fitted on my waistline. That's why I'm doing all this shenanigans that you're saying. So what I'm going to do is to place it in a straight line and use my chalk and mark it, and you can add extra fabric. You can still slash it open as much as you want, but this is the remaining of my fabric, so I'm working with my fabric. I'm working with what is remaining from my fabric. So I'm just going to cut it with the design that my pattern is giving me. So now I'll go to the one part of that opening on my gown. What I'm going to do is to notch the center of that excess fabric that I just finished cutting now, and pin that notched place to the center. Where the center here is the place that you shape. That is where you shaped by your side is the center I'm talking about on the gown. So you notch it, your notch fabric to your notch center of your gown and pin it together. That will make sure that you don't have to put too much in the front or put too much at the back. So what I'm going to go ahead now to do is to pin my pleats. What I'm doing here is bust pleats. I don't know why I like bust pleating, but that's what I'm doing here. You can gather your fabric and still sew it. You can even do knife pleating. You can do any pleating that you want. This is me turning it to show you what it's looking like if you turn it. And look at me, I was trying to test it after I was done fixing the both side. As you can see, this is a gown that is flay, but it's not flay. Here I have fixed the sleeve. I didn't put the tutorial for this sleeve because this video is already long and the tutorial for this sleeve is already long, so I'll be making another video for this sleeve. So god, I'm looking fine. I rocked it to church and everybody was like, I like your style, thank you. So please, if this is your first time watching, welcome. Thank you for watching to this point. See you next time.